There's a secret number you can text to find out your death date. Written by Quincy Lee. All of us texted it. My brother June, his wife May, our cousins Clara and Phil and their partners, and me, the only single amongst the couples in our backyard barbecue. I was turning to the dogs on the grill when June brought it up, claiming to have overheard some of the tech bros at work discussing it. You just text, "What's my death date?" and it tells you when you're gonna die.
No way, gasped Cousin Clara. You're shitting me. Creepy.
May rubbed her arms and shivered. Bullshit, I called. June's been a champion bullshitter since we were little. When he met May, who I like to think is short for mayhem, the two of them hit it off like firecrackers, each one trying to come up with the other with ways of their shenanigans. Pranks that rang from the harmless, like May making caramel onions instead of apples, to elaborate, like the week I found roaches all over my apartment, even falling on top of me from the shower head. June sniffed out a recipe for plastic roaches on May's credit card and convinced me to get her back with a live centipede, which I put in a cup and handed to her. Not until she screamed and flung the centipede back at me did June's maniacal cackling finally clue me in that he played us both. So this death date business. Yeah, classic June bullshit. He was showing off his phone screen. His death date was tomorrow. In rapid succession, the others all texted the numbers, so I went ahead and joined, even though I thought this was a stupid prank, and not even one of his better ones. We compared responses. Me, May 15th, 2023, 9:49 p.m. Clara, 11:16 a.m., June 5th, 2040? Howie, 1:19 p.m., March 11th, 2027. Phil, 6:44 a.m., October 3rd, 2063. Isra, 7:53 p.m., November 7th, 2029. May, 9:43 p.m., June 11th, 2023. June, 10:53 a.m., May 12th, 2023. Tomorrow was June's, coincidentally on his birthday. May and Clara were freaking out. They kept asking if he was scared, if he was worried. Phil jokingly suggested that he should lock himself indoors and make sure not to go out anywhere, etc. Of course, June made a big production out of it, texting updates throughout all the morning of his birthday. And then, after 10:53 a.m., nothing. June's texts stopped. Of course it was. It was, of course, all fucking staged. Just as Cousin Clara dragged in our parents, who then called me and insisted that I go check on my brother. And honey, we know it's been June, being June, but go and make sure. He finally sent a video thanking everyone for his birthday wishes and exclaiming about how he'd see us all soon to celebrate his birth, not death. And also how he gotten messages from my mom and dad and so many other people about how funny it spread so far, and even his boss had called. Sometimes I just want to strangle my little brother. So anyways, we all agreed later that at his birthday party that no one was fooled. We asked who we were actually texting. Turns out that we were actually texting Aisha, a girl that he'd met and was planning to set me up with. You know, nice of him, though these dates rarely worked in my favor. So I added the number to my contacts, then messaged her. Hey, death date girl, Aisha, right? So my little bro dragged you into one of his evil schemes? Aisha replied back, 9:49 p.m., May 15th, 2023. LOL. Ha, good one. but he already came clean. Aisha replied back, 9:49 p.m., May 15th, 2023. I frowned. I noticed something that I hadn't noticed the first time around. I showed the group my phone. Guys, I don't think this is Aisha. General scoffs all around because of course they thought I was kidding. But then I opened the contacts so they could see the number. Turns out I had been 1 digit off this whole time. Everyone else had been messaging Aisha and getting made up death dates from her, but I'd messaged somebody else. When they realized this, the group sobered up. June snatched my phone, eyes bright with curiosity. Ask them who you are, suggested Cousin Clara. So I did. Again, the same response. 9:49 p.m., May 15th, 2023.
Ooh, let me try.
May tapped the mystery number into her phone and whizzed off a text, and almost immediately a bell chimed with her response, 12:33 a.m., May 15th, 2023.
Oh my god, guys, chills,
squealed Clara.
That's creepy.
May eyed June.
That's how you do a death date prank.
Did you set this up? June asked her.
No, I swear.
All right then. That's enough death dates, declared our dad. He and my mom can only suffer so much antics. The conversation was dropped. As I was heading back later, June approached me. He seemed annoyed, convinced either I or somebody else was copying his idea, which he claimed wasn't funny since he had already done it. Apparently, he really wanted to know who was behind it. I told him I had no clue, but just his asking set a cold pin on the anxiety in my brain. June grumbled that it was probably May, then smiled and encouraged me to give Aisha a ring. Try to be cool, he said, and less of a stick in the mud. I think the word you're looking for is responsible, I suggested. Serious? Mature? All synonyms for boring, he said. I flipped him the bird. And then I forgot about the whole death date thing for a few days. I didn't even remember it until today when I went to the message Aisha and I got that same response. May 15th, 9:49 p.m., 2023. Ah, shit. I've forgotten to delete that death date number from my contacts after putting her name in. I was about to message the real Aisha when curiosity brought me back to the death date number again. Now it's just coming up as unknown on my phone. I messaged, "Who is this?" The number replied back, 9:49 p.m., May 15th, 2023. May? I typed. 9:49 p.m., May 15th, 2023. Fuck it. I borrowed a coworker's phone, asking if I could send a quick message since mine was dead. A little white lie sometimes, I could be sneaky as June. I sent the same number, the original question, when is my death date? Unknown replied back, 9:49 p.m., May 15th, 2023. The hairs on the back of my neck pricked. How the hell had this number responded with the exact date and time to a completely different phone? The sudden icy grip of fear was impossible to ignore. I called June, but it went to voicemail. Moments later, my phone buzzed. June. Work? ? I sent a rapid series of texts explaining. 1 sec. I got 9:42 p.m., May 15th, 2023. Probably May, LOL. A few hours later, June met me in my townhouse. He told me flatly that he couldn't figure out who owned the number, and it struck to me that, given he works at a tech company, he probably tried all sorts of tricks to track it down. Annoying as he could be, he is incredibly smart. The fact that he hadn't figured out where it came from made a knot in my gut tighten. A horrible dread settled over me. I'm sure it's just May. She'd been out all day and she hadn't been responding to any of my texts. Bet she's setting the whole thing up to freak us out. And June spoke that casually, rolling his eyes. He didn't like to admit it, but when something got under his skin ever, but having grown up with him, I could spot it in the tension around his eyes. I called May's phone. It went straight to voicemail. She's at a show with Clara and her mom, June said. She's been going on about it all week. No coincidence, the show ends just about half an hour before her death date. Give her enough time to rush over here to scare us. It's part of this whole thing, trust me. She'll be here soon.
And then he grinned, pointing at my laptop.
Are you typing all this up?
I started typing earlier this afternoon, documenting this just in case. And, just in case.
Oh, that's great. I know some people you could send it to, to make it go viral.
Puh, zero interest, I said. He rolled his eyes.
It's like you don't even want a girlfriend.
9:53. Still no answer from May. Suddenly my phone vibrated. June always kept his on silent, but his eyes darted to it when the screen lit up. He blinked and showed it to me. We both had the same text. Unknown number. Knock, knock. Downstairs from the front door to the townhouse came knocking. June jumped.
Oh,
he nodded.
Oh, May is good. I take it back. She's given us a good scare.
I was freaked out to say anything. I just really hoped it was May. June shouted,
May? Is that you?
There was tension in his frame as he called again. Then he put his phone to his ear and snickered. I heard it too. There was a tinkling of bells from somewhere just outside the front door. May's ringtone. She was outside. June pulled the phone from his ear and called out,
I got you, May. We know it's you.
He smirked at me.
Be back in a sec,
he said, and hurried down. My phone buzzed again. Knock, knock. From downstairs, the click of the front door latch. I looked at the time on my phone. 9:41. June's time was almost up. May really didn't plan it so perfectly, so she could arrive right when she was supposed to meet his end. I heard June calling at the front door for May, probably hiding somewhere to pounce on him. A moment later, I heard the scuff of him putting his shoes and stepping outside. My phone buzzed. June, be back in a sec, he said. I was about to close the browser, this browser, with the window open to the account that I had been documenting all of this, when my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't June or the unknown number. It was Clara. Clara. Hey, have you heard from May? Me. Yeah, why? Clara. Oh, thank goodness. She was supposed to meet me and Mom. The big show. We got really worried. All of our calls went to voicemail. Can you ask her why she didn't come? The show? June had mentioned the show too. And now that I remembered May talking about that show at the barbecue, how she spent weeks trying to get those tickets, and she missed it? A sudden sickness twisted into my stomach. The dread dialing up from just a tingle to a horrid lurch, like the floor had just been ripped out from under me. I hollered, June, did you find her? My phone buzzed. June. Knock, knock. The rapping on the door was so loud that I jumped. It wasn't down the steps at the front of the building, but right outside my living room door. I hadn't heard any footsteps come up the stairs. Hello? I said.
Let us in,
called June. Relief flooded me at the sound of his voice. I got up from my laptop and reached for the knob. I don't know why I hesitated suddenly, but I just had the feeling of dread, like a noose was being pulled around my neck and cutting off the air. Why hadn't there been footsteps? I called June's phone. It rang for a while, then went to voicemail. Why aren't you answering your phone? I asked. Silence. But then, June's voice. Near enough that it was clear that there were only the wooden doors between us.
Because I'm right outside your door?
How do I know it's you? His refusal to answer his phone stuck in my mind. The explosion of my phone's ringtone made me jump, and I picked up the call, and June's voice said into my ear.
Happy now?
Yes, I said, relieved.
Knock, knock,
he said. I could almost hear his smile.
Let us in.
No.
Bro.
June sounded annoyed. My phone buzzed. June replied back with a frowny face.
I quickly tapped back, me, after 9:50 p.m. And June, another frowny face. He knocked on the door.
Let us in. You're being ridiculous, bro.
He banged on the door.
Just open the door. It's us.
Where's May? I shot back. A long pause. Still no rustling or footsteps or any other human sounds. Then May's singing voice.
Open the door.
In 5 minutes. It was 9:45.
Do you seriously want us to stand in your hallway for 5 minutes? Come on. Let us in. Let us in.
But the more they demanded, the more my pulse raced and my hands slicked with sweat. Why did it matter so much? What was 5 minutes? Sometimes with siblings, you get in these power struggles, and that's what it feels like. Like maybe June was trying to make me do things his way, annoyed with me trying to control him. Only, I wasn't trying to control him or May. I was genuinely afraid, and I refused to open the door. The shouting, the pleading continued, and my phone suddenly began vibrating so much that I had to snatch it up and prevent it from falling off the desk. The texts were coming in non-stop as the door kept rattling. Knock, 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 knock. At 9:45 a.m., the sounds completely ceased. I waited several minutes, frozen in terror, and I finally went to open the door. Hands trembling, wrapped my fingers around the doorknob. I opened it, and there was nobody in the hallway. Only a few dirty tracks. Strange. June always removed his shoes before coming up. The front door was wide open, a cool breeze blowing in. I wandered down and peeked outside, and then closed it. Maybe they were pulling some elaborate prank, like the one with the cockroaches. I went back upstairs and I called June's phone again, hoping that he'd pick up, but there was no answer. I called and called. Nothing. I was just about to go out and look for him again when I noticed something face down on the sofa. June's phone. He must have left it in my living room when he went down to get May. I picked it up and saw my missed calls, as well as a bunch of texts from Clara asking about May and the show. He knew May was missing before he arrived. That explained why he was so tense. But he didn't want to admit it, thinking she was just one-upping him on his prank. That also explained why he had been so relieved in such a hurry to go meet her when he heard her ringtone. I also checked his text history. None of his knock-knock messages after he left came from his phone. It's now 10:30 according to the analog clock on my bookshelf, and I'm freaked out because my phone and laptop are both frozen at 9:49 p.m. and have been for the past half hour. I tried calling Mom, I tried calling Dad, or Cousin Clara, or anybody, but the line's busy. No matter who I ring, it's busy. And my laptop, like all frozen technology, is not working. Luckily, I could still type in the window that's already open. So that's what I've been doing. Documenting. I'm praying that I'll be able to post this and get help. My phone just buzzed. June. Knock, knock. And now the phone slips out of my fingers, and the icy claws rake down my spine, because the knocking came from inside the room. And suddenly, I remember how I peeked out the door earlier before I realized the clocks were frozen, and words are now flashing across my laptop on their own as fast as I can think them. Let me finish typing for you, as June's voice chuckled like he always did when he landed a really good prank. Back when he was alive, and he whispered in my ear, "Hey, thanks for letting me in." That was There's a Secret Number You Can Text to Find Out Your Death Date. Written by Quincy Lee.